All right, welcome back. So, we have Operation Transparency. I was going to go over this in the previous segment, but this is probably going to be pretty long to go through. There's a lot in here. So, let's see. I briefly skimmed over part of this like a day or two ago when it first came out, but I haven't really gone deep into it, so I guess we'll do that this time. So, Sitrep No1, Operation Transparency. Commanders, your written experiences from the front lines across social media platforms are always interesting and useful for devs, community managers, helpers, and alphas, since these help us to inform us what we could do for long-term plans as well as the smaller quality of life updates you're used to seeing. However, we also understand that we could do better to describe our plans before we publish them during updates, and that's what the new series of dev blogs will be for. A report of the current situation by your community managers, a sit rep. Disclaimer, we are happy to share development updates before dev server and update itself, but please note that anything mentioned may be changed, delayed, cancelled. It's constantly being developed. It's just the nature of game dev. So, reflecting on the Jet Power Major Update. The Major Update's main feature was, of course, the addition of a new type of vehicles, jets. Developers were especially eager to see how they were received. Yeah, generally, I like them. I know some people don't. I think they're really cool, but I also think because they're early war jets, they're deeply flawed. And there are a lot of situations that when I'm in a prop plane, I actually feel like I have the advantage on them. Let's see, as a result, we have seen our responses to said feedback and constructive criticism, namely update numbers that I'm not going to read. The Kika now has the largest single bomb in the game of 800 kilos. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Should have launched with it. And the ME262A1U4 has had its belt changed not once but twice. First being the test server and then the major update in response to early feedback from you. I still need to test that a little bit more. I was going to make a video about it pretty early on, but then they were tweaking it, and I didn't know if they were going to end up tweaking it again. Um, Also, when I first used it, I really was not a fan of it, so we'll see. Um, I need to push out the video on the F80 though. That one, 10 out of 10. Love that plane. So, moving on from there, some other concerns we've seen revolve around the power of the US jets, namely the Meteor Mark III and the F-80A5. I mean, yeah, obviously they're good, but I don't think that they're so good that it actually matters. Plus, we're going to get more jets and they're going to be better, so who cares? Developers have heard and solutions are being discussed. I mean, yeah, okay, so push them to BR6, but if you artificially cuck the planes, that's going to feel bad. Especially because they don't like they're fine for dogfighting, but like yeah, actually, okay. You know what the solution is? The solution is to take the ME262 and get rid of the 500 kilo and give it two 250s. Like that's the solution. Like the issue is not that the American planes have 1,000-pound bombs. The issue is that they have two bombs and you can put them in two different places. But you can take a 250 kilo bomb, or hell, you could even take a 250-pound bomb, just lighter, and you can take out a Tiger II with it. So, like, having extra drops is what matters, not having bigger bombs. That being said, having an 800 kilo bomb is still really, really cool. Anyway, the developers have heard and solutions are being discussed, alongside monitoring long-term views of players towards jets and how they impact gameplay. We've also seen some comments wondering if this is the end of World War II. No, it's not the end, but it does probably signal that they're going to continue into newer, greener pastures. Like, there's lots of stuff that they can do map-wise or adding new sub-nations into the game, but if they're going to continue with the mainline nations, they're hitting the limit of what they can do with World War II. It's like, yeah, obviously, if you look at War Thunder, There's dozens of vehicles that they can add to the tech tree that are still in World War II. There's probably lots of experimental guns that they can add. But the thing is, they've hit all of the high points. Like, they've hit all of the iconic things that you think of. Like, if you're going to go see a World War II movie, or if you're going to go pick up a World War II game and you're going to play America, we have the Thompson, we have the Bar, we have the Wildcat, we have the Hellcat, we have the Sherman, we have the Sherman Jumbo, like, we have the P-47, we have the P-38, like, we have the Garand, we have the, I probably said the Bar already. We have the grease gun. Like, what else do you want, right? We already have more in the American tech tree than all of the highlights you would expect to see. And if I've learned anything by playing Gaijin's games, if I've learned anything from War Thunder, it's that progress drives hype and new things boost player interaction and player excitement and whatnot. So there are lots of locations and maps that they can do. There are lots of vehicles that aren't in the game that ultimately, if they got added, would be really cool, but fundamentally wouldn't change anything. And there are probably lots of experimental guns, and there's probably some mainline guns that are just less known that can still be added. But they're going to have to progress the game. And I'm just using the Americans as an example here. It could be any nation. But, like, if you look at the American tech tree, one of the issues that the American tech tree has traditionally had up until they got the Offenrohr, which was controversial, was that they don't really have late war weapons that compete with what the Germans were using. It's why when you look at the Americans or you look at the Russians, they just have German AT weapons. And it's not across the board, right? Like, the Germans don't have planes that compete with what the Americans have. If you look at, like, the Russians, the Germans don't have, like, squad automatic weapons that compete with what the Russians have. Like, it's not all just one faction has more than the other. But the point here is, if you want to add an American weapon that deals with German tanks, you can look at the recoilless rifle, but otherwise you have to go to Korea and you have to go into the Cold War. If you want an American rifle that is similar to the FG-42, then you have to go into the Cold War. Or you have to go experimental, which is what they did. They went experimental. But the point here is that they're hitting a wall with BR5. And traditionally, in my experience with Gaijin games, what they continue to do is they sit here and they push BR6, BR7, BR8, whatever, right? Because BR6 can require more XP than BR5. And that means that you're gaining more player numbers. People have to play longer to research stuff. They have to get more silver to buy stuff. And they're going to do it because it's a new shiny thing and people want the best, coolest, newest shiny thing. So anyway, let's continue with what they're saying. However, World War II is and will remain the focus of the game and won't be changing anytime soon. Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that, like, that's true for this year. I just don't think that that's true in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Because, like, Enlisted tends to do a handful of updates throughout the year. Like, there will probably be a big one either over the summer or in the early fall. There'll be one in, like, November and one in, like, December. Or maybe it'll be October and, like, the end of November. But, like, you get the idea. Like, there's probably only somewhere between 2 and 4 more big updates for this year. And they don't add a ton of stuff in every update, but they usually have a focus. So it's pretty easy to keep everything like great. Everything's World War II for all of 2025. But what happens when we're in like November of 2026? I feel like by then we're going to be pushing the limit here. Because if we look at, again, if we look at War Thunder as an example, right? They can add an Italian subtree to Germany, and they can fully flesh it out. Or they can add like a British subtree to America, and they can fully flesh it out. Or France, or China, right? Like they could, if it were me, I'd add China into Russia and do the split between like the Eastern and Western allies. Um, and then I would add in like Manchuria with Russia fighting Japan to make it make more sense. But even if they go that route, right? Part of the issue is that people prefer certain nations over other nations. And it's less of an issue if you do sub tech trees instead of full tech trees because people will continue to play their main nation, and because they've researched everything else, they'll continue researching the new stuff and they'll use some of it because some of it will be good. But asking somebody to start a whole new nation or getting people to even care about nations that they aren't already passionate about is really hard. And while I think that there's some really cool French tech, I also acknowledge that there's a lot of people that probably don't care. Anyway, moving on from there, maps and missions. In other news, the developers are happy to see the increasing popularity in CeeLo Heights after the vast changes in the major update. They intend to complete more of these in future updates, alongside new maps, of course, as they recognize that some missions can do with a facelift. In particular, KFK Village was already eyed to make a big change in the future based on our collected stats as well as your thoughts over a long period. Yeah, that makes sense. I actually really like the whole map. Um, I understand why some people don't. I actually think a lot of people don't like that map because they aren't actually that familiar with it. There's a lot of tunnel networks that link different caves, and so you can approach objectives by going around and flanking to a different cave and taking in a different tunnel. So I understand why people don't like it, but I actually think it's one of the more interesting and creative maps they've come out with, because on the surface, you have a fairly open map with urban areas, but once you get into the ground, you also have these focal points with firing corridors, but a lot of them also have flanking routes, and I don't know. I think it's cool. Plus, the map boundaries aren't actually that bad. In a lot of cases, they allow you to flank around to where the enemy are approaching the objective themselves, and you can take the enemy's tunnels in behind them, which is really cool. In a lot of the European maps, the boundaries are so tight that you can't really effectively do that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, the CeeLo Heights changes are neat. But that's not all. Some of you have noticed now famous developer Snowy has, or on the forums, who is actively reading comments on the forum regarding adjustments to maps in a special thread. If you're strongly into gameplay maps, we encourage you to leave constructive and detailed thoughts, making them as specific as possible on that thread. Do note that posting there is not a guarantee of a change being made, but the more popular a suggestion appears, the more useful it is for developers. We're delighted to be able to have this improved dialogue over the many maps of Enlisted going forwards, and the onboarding of the next batch of alpha testers soon will help immensely too. Regarding the testing expanded BRs for maps experiment, we want to first thank you for participating and leaving feedback. Though through tests like this, we can get a grasp of what the entire player base feels about certain things, especially regarding topics we knew we could see strong variation in opinions from different corners of the community. In fact, this is exactly what we saw. some of the most engaged with posts Enlisted has had in a while, both in terms of likes and upvotes, as well as in terms of comments and debate. All this proves that it was necessary to undertake a test, though many of you wondered why we had to do it in this way in particular. The decision to put the test on the live server was not a light one. We could not put it solely on the test server for the upcoming quality of life updates, since that would prevent console players from experiencing it, and therefore we'd be excluding a large part of the player base from providing feedback. It's also worth remembering that this option requires downloading a separate client, which the majority of the player base don't do. Therefore, even those on PC would see largely empty battles for this test, which provides fruitless data for the devs, and we didn't want an in-game event for similar reasons, and also the fact that it would take extra dev time to implement, quality check, and more, time which was already planned for other future updates. Therefore, an in-game test for 1 week was the best option. As the test has recently ended, the devs will need some time to analyze the thoughts and decide on a plan. It's quite evident, though, from your feedback, that at least certain maps will need to be adjusted regardless, and what changes occur will need to be accompanied by some of the map-related promises on our roadmap. More about this later. So actually, I liked the test. I know that some people did not. I think the biggest issue for me is just how overly common Tunisia is. Whether I'm playing BR2, because if I'm playing BR2, I get Tunisia all the time. But even at top tier, almost every match that I played was Tunisia. Like, I played America, and I was like, oh, okay, Tunisia, yeah, that makes sense. There's a test, right? I went and played Germany because I really wanted to get some, like, Moscow time in, and it was just Tunisia, 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 Tunisia. I think the Moscow maps are fantastic, though. They're still some of my favorite maps in the game, and I really do hope that they come to top tier. I see the complaints about some Tunisia maps. You're not wrong. It's just that I don't think that things being more open is a bad thing. I think it gets really dull and really boring when every map that you play on is a tight, confined CQB city map. Does this mean that things are going to be more lethal in an open map? Yes, it does. Does this mean that they should change the maps? Maybe a little bit. I don't think that they need to be more congested, though. I think the solution is adding trench lines and increasing the availability of things like vehicles to help you get around. I think one of the biggest benefits you can get with a large open map is the additional space for maneuver gameplay and the ability to get a more mechanized focused map going. If you use city maps, it's perfectly fine for like hordes of infantry to run around on foot, but the ability to really make use of trucks, half tracks, the available like trucks on the map, tanks, planes, motorcycles even on some of the like more open Tunisia maps just makes them feel different, and it makes them so much more interesting. But that's just my 2 cents. So moving on from there, battle rating changes. I'm gonna skim through some of this because I read this more yesterday, but yada yada yada. They wanted to change some of that. Okay, maybe I should just read it because I've been reading everything else, and I don't want to like break the flow. All right, so battle rating changes. We can see where, in fact, one of the most popular parts of the Jet Power update, both in terms of experiment and vehicles, as well as in matchmaking. The former is something we hope to do more often going forwards, thanks to your appreciation and new ideas for a possible second iteration of changes. It is much more possible. The +1 -1 BR matchmaking, something we know players wanted for a long time, which developers are happy to implement with the increasing success of the game. We know that there's more that can be done to help improve matchmaking, some of which are on the roadmap, but we're glad to see the start is appreciated. So, generally speaking, I do think the BR changes have been good. I'm curious to see what they end up going with going forward. Like just today they moved bikes down. I just don't think that changing the BR of bikes matters. I mentioned it because of the picture in the background. Um, but a lot of the like weapon BR changes has been good. It just leaves certain BRs bare, and they really need something to be added into them for certain nations. Ideally, they need things to be added that create distinctive choices. Like I often look at like Russian SMGs for this sort of thing. Like if one is just better than the other, then you're going to use the better one. Like you need an actual difference in choice. So like a good difference in choice is a PPSH with a drum mag versus like an AS44. They just they do two different things. The AS44 is really good as a general purpose weapon. The PPSH is really good at clearing buildings and fighting in close quarters. So there's a choice there. From the same tech tree though, if you look at the Uragan versus the PPS 43 versus the PPS 42, like functionally there's no real choice there. They all do the same thing, just slightly better. Let's see. So developers were happy to see lots of positivity around the latest quality of life update, making a better place 68. Especially the new customization possibilities. These improvements require a high level of intricacy, hence they take time, so observing it being worth in the eyes of the players is great to see. It's phrased kind of weird. However, there were two main things we picked up on from your comments. One being that you prefer there to be a way to match it to the campaign you're playing in to avoid situations like where your white APC designed for the snow is too easily spottable in desert terrain. Developers will consider what can be done about this. The second is that despite these popular changes, there's still room for more iconic insignias as vehicle customization. So this isn't just a vehicle customization thing, this is an everybody customization thing. The way that they get around this in War Thunder is that you have every camo available to you all the time, but you're able to use the auto selected one, which will change map by map, whether it's like winter, summer, fall, desert, whatever, right? But you still have a drop-down list. The solution to this for vehicles is to just give you a list of your skins and you pick the one that you want to use. The solution for infantry is that you get appearance loadouts. So I can sit here and put an appearance loadout on, and then it doesn't matter where I am, I should be able to apply that. So if I have my like spotted German uniforms, which by the way, they're available in almost every location you can go to, but let's say you customize them in the Ardennes and you go to Stalingrad, right? They're both cold places. They both have the same uniforms available, but if I take the same squad to Stalingrad, my guys are in generic uniforms and not wearing their spots, right? This is a problem. Hell, even the spotted uniforms, if you look at them between like Stalingrad and Berlin, mostly look the same. They don't really look much heavier, right? So I should be able to sit here and make loadout 1 spots, loadout 2, I don't know, winter shit, like heavy trench coats and like tall boots and fluffy hats, right? And I should be able to put either of them on anywhere I go to. Yeah, it would look kind of weird running around with fluffy hats in the desert, but that is a price I'm willing to pay in order to get my spots everywhere. Like, I shouldn't have to, like, theoretically, if I wanted to customize one squad to have the spotted camo, right? And I want to use it in everywhere as my Germans, I would have to customize it for Moscow, for Rzhev/Stalingrad, for Berlin, for Ardennes, right? That's 4 different customizations that I would have to do. 5 if I do it for Tunisia. But I mean, it's Tunisia, right? Like, I can live with being in like tan shorts. I don't know, like for the maps that like I know it's not a perfect change, and if you want to lock out some of the like really standout things like wearing fluffy winter hats in Tunisia, I'm fine with that. You can disable that. But for these more generic things like getting a gray uniform versus a brown uniform versus like the darker uniform versus the spots, man, I should be able to just have presets made with those and apply them on every map that I go on. Just give me a little drop down when I'm picking my squad in battle. Be like, do you want to use appearance loadout 1, 2, 3, or 4? Like I said, I know it's not perfect, but it is better than what we have right now. I really, really do not like the infantry customization right now. Anyway, moving on from there. Roadmap. Aside from the major update itself, we see lots of player comments asking about features specified on our last roadmap and when they'll be appearing in-game. To update where we are so far, we've just released the option to postpone booster activation with the Jet Power major update. Yeah, I'm surprised we're still working through this one. So we've got almost complete in development and considered features. I assume because this is on here that this is up to date. Um, and I assume green wrenches are in the game. Which, by the way, the improvements to the rider class are not enough. They need to go further. I know that's like probably the 4th time I've mentioned that today, but it is what it is. A new front line. I want to see where they go with this. I think it should be Manchuria, but we'll see. So, like in the game, I'm assuming the green wrenches are in the game and gray wrenches, white wrenches are not. So the free release on Steam, the implementation of their improvement to the account linking system, in-game tutorial for the UI, better description for game mechanics, new engineer-built AT weapons, and a new soldier class, uh, converting excess research into silver, which I've used this, dude. You get like nothing. It's like pennies, bro. All right, so you can convert like what 500,000 silver, and I'm trying to I don't remember exactly what the conversion rate is, but it isn't good. Um, you see, I want to give an accurate number, but I'd have to go in game to look at that. But it's something like you drop like 250,000 silver and you get like 25,000 XP. Or the other way around, like 250,000 XP and you get like 25,000 silver. It's crazy. Because you go through 25,000 silver in a flash. You want to upgrade a vehicle or you want to upgrade like a tier 4 or 5 gun. Good luck. Like the silver economy is really good for BR1 and 2, but when you get past BR1 and 2, bruh, you want a full squad of maxed out FG42s. Oh boy, you better get ready to spend a ton of silver. Anyway, moving on from there, silver rewards for battle hero members, revised earnings and conquest veterans box with old event rewards for silver. Yeah, we've seen that twice. Even though people complain about loot boxes, those seem like they've been extremely popular. All my friends seem to like them. Changes to AP mines. Now, finally, some gray wrenches. So, we're working on a new front line that we don't have yet. New battlefields, new combat events, and option to postpone silver activate or postpone booster activation are all in. I really like postponing the booster activation. To be honest, I probably should just send them, but I've been like piling them up and then going and doing like a Battle as Japan since I've been neglecting my Japanese tech tree this year. I mean, it's still basically done. It's just all of my other tech trees are sitting on like a million plus XP, and my Japanese still need like 4 or 5 things. Let's see. Preferred map system. Yeah, I really do look forward to having a preferred map system. I'm curious how they'll do that. By the time they get that in, they might have all of the maps available for every BR, in which case it will literally just be you set what maps you prefer. Um, I think in War Thunder you get 2 bans and you get like 1 or 2, or maybe it's 1 ban and one like preferred not to play there, but you get to mark at least 2 maps that you don't like, and you get to mark like, I don't know, like 4 maps that you do like, something like that. The numbers might have gone up or changed or whatever, but you get the idea. Enlisted has less maps, so I'm not sure how many you'll actually be able to mark as preferred. And I don't know if you'll be able to dislike or outright ban maps. I don't know if I would actually ban any maps. Um, I would absolutely prefer certain locations, though. Let's see, reworking rules for groups. I'm curious what they're going to do with that. Um, I assume that this is going to be some sort of matchmaking thing for putting like the same number of the same sized groups on different teams, but we'll see. Penalties for deserters. Yeah, that might be necessary, except for Conquest. Until they get Conquest out of the rotation, or the ability to choose not to get in Conquest games, then penalties are questionable. Silver bonus for using Join Any Team that's already in. Um, the only problem with Join Any Team is that you need everybody in your party to have synced up their lineups, and it becomes pretty scuffed pretty quickly if they haven't. Um, like generally my friends and I, we just pick a nation and a BR and play that one nation in that BR. There are a few times though where we've done any nation. Uh, it just requires us to make sure that all 4 of our nations are all set to the same BR. Anyway, inability to invite friends to ongoing battles. So this is good for games where half your team leaves. The problem is most people don't really want to join a losing game. And if you've had like 4 or 5 people leave, you might still be winning. Like I've seen that happen. But there's a lot of games where your team's just losing. And like if Buddy's like, "Hey, Drew, why don't you come and join me so we can turn the tide of this battle?" Like as exciting as it sounds to go and like reinforce them and turn the tide, I feel like I'd rather just go next. It's not like being able to call your friends into like Tarkov with that like call thing that they added. I feel like there's more value in that. Anyway, for consoles, keyboard and mouse support and improved controller aiming assist, those both aren't in yet. And customization improvements, the ability to change soldier voices. I think I just saw something about that. I think that's in this dev post later on. And rebalancing customization prices. Yeah, they're pretty fucking expensive if you don't have appearance orders. And then there's the rider thing. Alright, so, but what's coming next? Developers understand that one of the most desired roadmap features is the preferred map system, and we see many of you hoping for it soon. It is also what the community has quoted as very important to them in regards to the test of BR expanded maps, since it would add more freedom. Players who want to have some influence on which missions they fight could do so, and those who wouldn't want to play something different could avoid it. Hence, developers have placed priority on this feature, and it's in the internal testing stage now. We'll reveal more about it in a separate dev blog. But to give an indication of the plans for now, it will have a like and dislike option, which you can show your approval for certain missions or lower your chances of seeing them, which can also be useful information for developers. A ban ability where you can remove a few totally is also being considered. So it sounds like they're kind of modeling it similar to the War Thunder one. I'm curious if you're going to be able to just like or dislike every map. Um, because if I could just like make a preference list like that, that would be kind of cool. Obviously it'll still depend on like what everybody else in the player base does. Like, for example, if I dislike like a handful of maps that everybody else likes, I'm still probably gonna end up on the maps that I dislike because that's where all the matches are. But moving on from there, we'll reveal more about it in a separate dev blog. But to give an indication of the plans for now, it will have. Oh, right, I already. Big brain. Similarly, we hope to release the reworking rules for groups so that we can improve matchmaking further, as well as the penalties for deserters roadmap points. At the same time as the preferred map system, this triple whammy of requested features we hope will do a lot for players and their in-game experience, and are working in hopes to bring it all forward soon. The ability to invite friends to ongoing battles is currently in the works too, but is taking a bit more time than we would like, so there's a chance that we'll shift our focus to something more important for now. Yeah, like I said, it's a cool idea, but practically, like, unless you're keeping this huge friends list of active people where you can be like, oh no, these guys left my team, let me go to my friends list, invite, yes, we've got a full team again, whoa, right? Like, realistically, that's not gonna fucking happen. Regarding the ability to change soldier voices, we can see how much players desire other nations and enlisted, both in terms of soldiers and equipment. As a result, we're going to go one step further than what was originally stated on the roadmap. We'll be giving players the ability to change the nationality of their soldiers through adjusting their voice names and head. Well, that'll be neat. We'll give more details closer to the time regarding how it will work, so stay tuned. Note that this is a feature that will not be available for Gold Order troops and event soldiers for obvious reasons. Everything listed on the roadmap is still planned as promises, but to avoid making this dev blog longer, we've picked out just a few of the most in-demand points. We'll most likely cover the progress of others in future sit reps, yada yada yada. Alright, we're almost done here. So that's cool. I appreciate that I should potentially be able to change the way that my soldiers sound. Maybe I can make more of my American soldiers sound a little bit more mature and less like, I don't know, high pitched. That's always been my criticism with the Americans. Like, I do like some of the voice lines. I just kind of wish my Americans sounded, I don't know, more badass. But it is what it is. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't speak German or Russian, but I feel like the guys that they got to voice them just have, like, I don't know, better voicing. And not better. Like, the American voicing isn't bad. I just don't like how high pitched it is. I don't know. I just think the Russian guy sounds like more of a badass, and the German guy sounds like more of a badass. Anyway, moving on to AI squad mates, arguably the most important part of this entire blog. This is the part that I was focusing on the other day when I was reading through it. So, a while ago, we had some discussions and made some proposals for developers regarding the most common issues with the AI. These were incredibly constructive, but it's a complex topic with a number of upcoming changes, such as those that affect the priorities of AI in battle, that will likely go through various iterations in response to your feedback through future updates. With that in mind, the developers have now identified 9 main areas listed below, all representing consistent causes of frustration among players due to how popular improvements in this area are to the community. They're happy to put some focus here. Yes, so before we read through this, I'm going to once again outline my thing. I want the AI to feel authentic. I don't want them to feel like bullshit. I'm sick of being shot through bushes by guys that can't see me. I'm sick of being shot through A bush, a tree, 2 windows, and a doorway by people who can't see me. And I shit you not, I've seen that happen before on kill cams. I'm sick of walking into buildings and having, like, the first 2 AI be out of melee range so they completely ignore me even though they're looking at me, and have the third guy bayonet me instantly because I get too close to him. I want the AI to feel authentic. I'm sick of my AI being left like 2 blocks behind me because they don't know how to sprint. I'm sick of my AI getting killed because they want to find a doorway instead of climbing through a window. Okay? I want my AI to feel authentic. What does that mean? That means I want my AI to follow my footsteps exactly where I go so they're with me and they feel like an organized squad. That means I want the AI to have like a 45-degree cone that goes at 100 meters in whatever direction they're moving. And I want them to shoot at anything that's not behind a tree, a bush, or a wall in that area. I don't want them to suddenly turn to the left and shoot me because I'm running through some rubble and they shouldn't be seeing me. All right? If I'm in the rubble and I shoot at them, then I want them to shoot me. If I'm running up to a doorway that they're sitting in a building, I want them to shoot at me. Okay? That's what I want from the AI. I want them to feel authentic. I don't want them to be better. I don't want turn the AI into these god mode like killer doom bots. I want them to feel authentic. All right. So with that out there, let's see what they have to say. So, these include 1, AI squad mates randomly rushing forward ahead of the player. Honestly, that's probably the least of my concern. Like, if I mark a location, like a building, I want them to go and sit in the building. But I'm not worried about my AI running off ahead of me. Because, to be honest, I would rather they do that. But most of the time, they're jerking off behind me with their thumbs up their ass. Alright, 2. The AI walking in front of the player when aiming or shooting. Yes, that is very annoying. I don't know why they still do that, but yes, I agree. Very annoying. Not the most important thing, though. Just annoying. 3. AI interfering with an engineer constructing a structure. Yeah, that's annoying, but again, like, 2 and 3 are things that you can get around by marking a point on the ground and telling your AI to stand there. Like, I'm in a building, they got in the way. I mark the other wall in the room. They stand behind me now. I'm building stuff as an engineer. The AI are in the way. I mark an area like 5 feet away. They walk over. Like, yes, this is annoying. Yes, I think they should fix it. These should not be 1 and 2 on the list. Like, 1 on the list should be AI does not shoot through bushes. That should be 1. Number 2 should be AI does not do like a 180-degree turn and shoot you when you've shot at no one and you're just like walking around behind them. Like, those should be 1 and 2. Anyway, continuing. AI prioritizing extinguishing themselves rather than moving away from the fire. Like, yes, okay, we'd like the AI to not be dumb. Also should not be number 4. This should be like number 9. 5. Flicks towards players by AI in an unnatural way and killing them instantly. Yes, 5 should be number 1. Stop making the AI turn and shoot me through a bush. It's like, you can instantly tell who the AI and who the players are in this game because the players, like, move towards an objective and they, like, shoot at you. They don't shoot at you when you're behind them. They don't shoot at you when you're to the sides of them. Like, players are so easy to, like, run around and flank, but the AI, dude, the AI will not shoot you if you're in front of them, but for some reason, they will clap your ass so fast as soon as you're behind them. I don't get it. Anyway, shooting through opaque objects, such as through bushes and smoke. Yes. Why these are 5 and 6? These should be 1 and 2. They are like the single most important things that need to be changed about the AI more than anything else. General pathing. Yes. General pathing should Like, okay, everything from 5 on should be moved up to 1. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like the current like 1 through 4, yes, they matter. Yes, it would be nice if they change, but fuck off with that shit being 1 through 4. Come on, man. That stuff barely matters. There's workarounds for all of that. All right. 8. Not hiding behind cover adequately despite being commanded by the player. Yes. Go stand in that building. Okay, boss. They all stand out front and die. Hey, go get in that trench. Okay, boss. They all stand on top of it and die. 9. Not being able to successfully follow the player's path and picking a more dangerous route. Is this not part of general pathing? But yes. 5 through 9 are so important. 1 through 4 are like little flavor things where, yeah, it would be really nice if the AI didn't all die when they get lit on fire. But honestly, I don't really care that much. But what I do care about is them shooting me through a bush. All right. The top 4 listed above are already in progress, while 5 to 7 will receive some general improvements you should also notice soon, which we await feedback for, since these in particular will definitely need to go through a few iterations and updates. Point 8 and 9 are other ongoing fights which you may see some improvements on going forward, but due to their intricate nature, we cannot confirm every instance will be fixed yet. Look, dude, I will sacrifice 1 through 4, okay? You can not fix 1 through 4. I don't care. Fix 5 through 9, like, top priority. Like, dude, I would rather have 5 through 9 fixed than get a new map. I would rather have 5 through 9 fixed than get a whole lot. Like, dude, I know that they can't do this, all right? I'm not saying this as a realistic thing. They have to release updates to make money to continue the game. Like, it's something that they have to do, okay? I would sacrifice an entire update from the year, like new vehicles, new maps, new premium squads. I would sacrifice all of it from an update if 5 through 9 got fixed by like September. I would easily give up all. Hell, I would sacrifice all, like, a whole update, and I would still pay like some sort of premium like pledge price just to get that done by September. That's how important this is to the game to me. Like 5 through 9 single-handedly, like that set of changes is what ruins the experience in this game whenever I have a bad experience in this game. Like, I don't have a bad experience because something's the wrong BR. It's annoying, it's inconvenient, but who fucking cares? I don't have a bad experience because the AI stepped in front of me when I'm shooting. Like, it's mildly annoying, and every once in a while it might get me killed, but if I'm being smart, I can just tell them to stand to my right, okay? Like, I'm not even really having a bad experience because I get a conquest map, okay? I'm having a bad experience because my fucking AI are 2 blocks behind me when I get killed, and I'm like, oh, where are they all? Oh, half of them are dead, and none of them are near me. That's a shit experience. I'm not having a bad time because I got stuck in, like, I don't know, my 3rd back-to-back conquest game that I blew a booster on. Like, again, it's annoying, but, like, they've changed the economy, so it's actually kind of worthwhile to play Conquest. I'm just disappointed. But I tell you what, I am having a bad time if I decide, hey, I'm going to play guerrillas. Guerrillas are designed to play behind enemy lines. Oh no, I got shot through 2 bushes and a tree by a guy whose squad is clearly walking in the opposite direction. Like, that's a shit experience. I understand that some of my, like, it's not a bad experiences are not good experiences. That was kind of my point. Like, some of them are kind of shitty, but they're not as shitty as this. Like, 5 through 9, dude, fix them. It's the most important thing to this game. Fix them. Every new person that I've ever brought into Enlisted, the first negative comment they make is, the AI are fucking retards. What the fuck is my squad doing? I've heard that from every single person I have ever played this game with. Like, the idea that you have a squad with different guys with different gear that do different things and fill different roles, all of that is awesome. It's what really sets Enlisted apart from every other shooter out there. And it completely falls apart when you realize that they are fucking retards. One moment, my dog's barking. All right, I'm back. Yeah, all of this is really cool. A lot of these should be pretty good changes. I'm looking forward to it. If if we get all of this, and it sounds like they're going to be more transparent with some of this, then that will be pretty good. I really do just want 5 through 9 there. And then on my own, I might go through some of the comments, and if there's anything exciting, then maybe I'll highlight it. But let me know what you think down below. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There's some stuff we already knew about. There's some stuff that I don't really care too much about, but generally speaking, this is pretty cool. As per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.